road trip today to Leicester, 270-mile round trip. There is no time to waste, not a chance to have anything to eat so far. All last night. Oddly enough, last night I spent ages editing a video that turned out to be less than 3 minutes long. That means this morning wanting to get straight off. I'm just not prepared like I used to be. I used to take sandwiches, I used to have a flask, I used to take biscuits, I used to take a sense of motivation. But today, what did I do? I made some toast, wrapped it up in foil, took the risk of dropping crumbs everywhere, and then forgot to bring it with me anyway. And here we go, racing up the motorway. Actually, the wrong direction. The wrong direction, very, very good reason. And that reason is quite simply that I have to get Mr. Boaty before I can continue this, because I can't drive two cars back. The first leg of this journey is in this car, Christine, the Rover 45 press release pre-production green thingy. Would have ideally liked to have taken the MGF, but it's wet. Although it's stopped raining, there's always a chance it's going to start again. And if I'm going to have a roof on the car as I drive, it may as well be a metal one.
Yeah, I think I remember a new car.
I've done it again, playing roulette with the fuel. The fuel gauge on this is quite reliable, but even so, I shouldn't be going across this particular part of the country so far away from a petrol station whilst the needle is now dancing on the red bit. Oh gosh, what's that? Oh. I thought there was a body line on the floor then. I hope this is going to be worth it, because currently not doing very well for time. I'm really thirsty, I'm really hungry, there is no petrol left in the car, and neither of us have spoken to the banker about this purchase yet. Volvo V70. Why aren't we buying those? People buy those and they're good cars. Instead we're going to buy a Rover 620, which is a lovely car, and I just don't, it's just that people don't really buy them very often. Go on, I'll do it as well.
Precision, there's no glue anywhere on the wings or this, that and the other. I've done a really good job. Joy London, because in 2004 I smashed
Top on Radio 2.
I hate this quiz. Goodness, this is rather slow. And less than 20 miles per hour slow. That's a pity. I think we have something very big up ahead. Hence the escort vehicle. Well, this is exceedingly inconvenient. I mean, for me. Of course, that vehicle is being driven by somebody who's doing a job that's obviously very important, and I'm not impatient. I just wish I was in front of it. That fuel is at the bottom now. Bloody petrol! This isn't good at all. About 15 minutes later than I want to be, so I promised we'd be in Leicester by 12. Stony Middleton, still behind this truck. There is a petrol station just down here actually, but I'm now only about 5 miles off of Boaty's. And really late, so I'm just going to have to risk it even further. Nice chippy that. Now, is it going to, oh, it's going straight on. We're still stuck behind it. It would be nice to overtake and get past this, but so far there have been quite a few vehicles in front of me, and now there's only one, but that's an articulated lorry anyway. The other thing is that you get past the really big truck, and then you're in between that and the escort vehicle, which seems like a bit of a no-no somehow. Like it's against the rules, you're not supposed to do it. We're coming up to a roundabout, so another opportunity for the big wagon to go somewhere other than the way I'm going. What will happen? It's taking the same way as me. And again, another big roundabout with either Sheffield or Chesterfield. Will he go to Sheffield instead? No! Oh. So this massive vehicle I will be keeping company with right up to Boaty's house. So it's been from as soon as I got into the Peak District, all of this way. And you may think, well, it wouldn't really delay you that much, but it really has. I'm currently doing 15 miles per hour when I could be doing 50. And although it does a reasonable speed down the hills, it really does not pick up at all going up. I'm down to nearly 10. We're only on a slight slope here as well. 10 miles per hour. If only I hadn't have made that toast that I didn't even get a chance to eat. I'd have come out, I would have been here probably half an hour ago. At last, the first leg of the journey is actually complete. First leg. And finally, a film from the passenger side of the car, which is a different car. It's a car called Roddy.
I call it Roddy.
I call it Roddy.
Have you called it Prince Andrew?
Yeah, Prince Andrew. Not Andy Pandy. Prince Roddy.
Andy Pandy.
More traffic to endure. As you can see from Mustard Cam, I am sat with Mr. Boaty. Boaty. Hi Boaty.
Hello.
Rover 620 SLI. Automatic. I just hope that the 12 volt socket works. And, well, I also hope it's a really good car, and that we were lucky enough to be the ones that go along to buy it rather than somebody else. And a Honda S2000. The Adobe route to Johnny Crook. It's easy, that is.
I put in 5 words, he said one hell of a lay.
Oh gosh. So you've not been to a proper Mac Lads concert until you've been stabbed.
I can't speak for anybody else.
Yeah, I used to be really into them. Went to all the concerts, got stabbed at one.
I did.
It was like the way you said it then, it was like part of your badge. I just thought that Boaty would have experienced the knife inside you. Did it go in you?
Yes.
How much?
Not far.
Oh, right. Well, the fact is, you don't take it personally because it wasn't actually meant for you in the first place, but you were the one that ended up getting stabbed while somebody else who deserved it got away.
It was Goldsmiths, and I was right at the front, and it was all a bit of a, I mean, if you've never been to a Mac Lads concert,
I'm glad I haven't.
it's a bit of a
free-for-all with knives and daggers and...
that's less common. Well, it's, oh hello.
You're going to drive all the way to Leicester now with your fingers crossed.
I drove all the way home from Wales once. I saw the funeral just as I was getting on the M50, and then it was M50, M5, M1, M42, M1 all the way home, and I managed about an hour of driving like this with my fingers crossed, and I thought, fuck it, came off the motorway, drove through a town, just looking for a dog. I followed signs to a park.
You are weird.
I'm not weird.
Was you looking in all the cars for dogs?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought it might have been. How unlucky. I don't mean...
Yeah, well, exactly, that's the point, isn't it?
What, death, or not finding a dog?
No.
Or actually thinking you need to see a dog?
Having bad luck.
What kind of bad luck can you get through not seeing a dog?
Well, something bad could happen to you.
How are we even friends? You believe stuff like this?
My mother told me.
Yeah, as a joke, I reckon.
Hey,
So I know what'll fuck him up for the rest of his life.
We mustn't make love. You will have
I think it's time we address this then. Boaty thinks that there's a younger version of me in Todmorden called Thomas, who just happened to have commented on one of my photos just
I
then.
didn't see you there. It's T.E.
Yeah, T.E.
Yeah,
T.E. What was T.E.?
that's his name, Thomas Edward.
Thomas Edward. So, hang on. That's not the same bloke, is it?
Genuinely annoyed that you got rid of that car. Been entitled to complain a lot more than I actually did, but that's my manner.
Hello. I interrupted this video at this point many, many days afterwards to explain that we'd just seen the car and didn't buy it. That roundabout looks like a fried egg.
Oh dear Lord.
So another uncomfortable ride back for me in the non-reclining Boaty car seat, which isn't his fault because it was like that when I had the car. And an unsuccessful trip out to Leicester to view quite possibly the most battered looking Rover 600 I've ever seen. From every single corner you could see rough bits, dents. That actually beats the Honda CR-V, which I did a test drive in the other day for condition, like as in bad condition. I will say that actually we've had a laugh, if nothing else. That was funny.
Yeah, but it's the kind of laugh that you have when you're sheltering in an air raid shelter from a bombing raid.
Oh yeah.
In half a mile, turn right onto...
No, I'll let you do it.
I've already done it. I had to clean 17 something. Man with that. Is that why?
So everything about that particular experience was just a bit weird, wasn't it? Which is why I started going on. He didn't even come to the door with me.
I didn't. I was genuinely not convinced that this was real.
No, we saw the car and he just said, let's just keep going.
Yes, I
So,
did.
I thought, let's just go and have a chat anyway.
Let's not even park up.
When I went parked up, knocked on number, whatever it was, I might as well say number 12, not giving the whole address away. And I realised that I got mixed up with the numbers there and I was knocking on the wrong door. Then I went and knocked on the right
Well,
door.
hang on, before you move on,
Yeah.
it is worth pointing out that the man at number 12 did try and sell you his fridge.
I was tempted to buy his fridge so we don't go back empty-handed. And up to the correct one, knocked on the door, and an old lady answered, and she didn't have a clue what I was talking about. And then we went next door because she said, "Oh, I think it's next door." So I knocked on that door, and they didn't know what I was talking about. And then the lady from the first one opened the door up again
Go
and said,
past these lights, then at the next set, at the roundabout, take the fourth exit.
Then she came back out again and said, "Oh, you're after a car." Very, very broken English.
At the roundabout.
And then an old man came out whose car actually owned by a 99-year-old man who was a very nice old man who I couldn't understand what he was saying. And then eventually the car came back. where we had a proper good look at it, and the very nice chap who we did speak to, we could understand properly.
The son, yeah.
He was a very nice chap.
He was a nice chap.
But he was a bit surprised that I said it doesn't look...
He was genuinely shocked, wasn't he?
he looked...
I'm sorry, what do you mean it's a howling shed? There's nothing wrong.
Didn't actually use that term, but...
No.
Gosh.
He was genuinely taken aback.
Yeah,
we
that's
were bowled over by
that surprised expression he had.
The magnificence of the car.
I would have thought it might have been, yeah, I know it's a proper...
Would it tick over like a sewing machine?
Yeah.
Well, yes, it probably does. It's a 2-litre Honda unit. Oh dear.
I think that's, the best disappointment I've ever had. That was so much fun, wasn't it? We'll tell our grandkids about this, won't we, mate?
Yeah. I'm just kicking myself for not buying that fridge. We should have made him. We should have made him an offer on it at least. And it's quite a nice fridge. And if you're wondering how we know about the fridge, it's because it was outside his front door.
Yeah. It's not like he invited us in.
Yeah.
But he just took advantage of a sales situation.
Yes.
Grabbed it with both hands.
There are some people here looking to buy something. Admittedly, it's a Rover 620, but it's worth trying to swerve them into my fridge. Oh, isn't it?
Well, that handle had broken off, yeah.
And that air vent was smashed.
I didn't notice that bit. I didn't get that far. The trouble is, that's just the kind of car that I like and kind of warm to, in the same way that I've done with Fred the Shed.
Oh, great.
And it's all related to Nigel, I'm afraid. Nigel and my first ever car, because you're always after that first car experience, and that 600 would be perfect for somebody who wants that first car experience and last car.
I don't know anything about them. Never driven one, never sat in one.
Me neither. Don't go and buy a car without seeing some proper pictures of it. But as the secret banker was the one that found that, he said terrible advert.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh yeah, good. Often a terrible advert hides a hidden gem.
That's right. It can happen.
Yeah. But it didn't that time.
It didn't that time.
No. Sometimes a diamond is buried in shit. Yellow.
She looks portly.
Look what's following us about. We've just had ourselves a little bit of lunch
It's true.
from McDonald's.
Yes, it was from
And
McDonald's.
Boaty's informed me of something that I do find quite surprising, that his Big Mac is filling enough to keep him from needing any supper.
Yeah. If you eat a Big Mac, then you don't really want to eat for 24 hours. I mean, you probably will eat, but it's out of habit, not out of
At the roundabout, take
need
the
or
second
desire.
exit onto Derby Road.
And I completely disagree. That bookshop looks like Fawlty Towers.
Oh, it does. This is quite an interesting route. I quite like this.
You find me frightening.
No, I say sometimes I think, look, aeroplane, go round Concorde.
Concorde. I'd love that.
Would you?
Yeah.
The fifth exit to merge onto the M1 to
British Midland flight, and they didn't quite make it, and they crashed on the M1.
Oh. When was the last time you had some snails delivered to you?
3 or 4 years ago.
Did they last a while then?
I've still got them.
Right.
They breed.
So they come in like a plastic damp pot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Second class post. I didn't think you could actually send livestock of any kind through the post.
You can do anything, just not necessarily legally.
Right, I see. Yeah. So when you go to the post office and the man or the lady behind the counter says, "What's in it?" you don't say snails.
Yeah.
Or snakes.
That's exactly it.
Right.
See, now,
So easy to get around.
it's a different thing, but this is where Neil and Sophie and Joe went wrong with the breakfast at the Real Travelodge.
Yeah.
So when you go to the post office and they say, "Have you got snails in here, mate?" You say, "No." Entirely going to plan.
Yeah, you was forgetting that those cars have got much better acceleration than what you have.
Yeah.
Arrested in connection with an investigation into a few.
120 officers are involved. You are screening required.
The 5 Rosy Gaines and wet and the 540 today.
I love this view from up here. It's very difficult when coming up this way not to stop and just have a right good look. Pendulous knocking. This has been a really rather tiring day. From dashing out without a second cup of tea, to being tired, to not having enough fuel in the car, awful traffic on the way, sitting in the passenger seat of Prince Andrew, the seat that doesn't recline, all the way to Leicester and back because the car that we went to view was terrible. I ended up with I think a dehydration headache, and for the first time in a very, very long time I even bought a bottle of pop. Even more surprising is I drunk the whole lot. Nice. As they say, hindsight is always 20/20, and that would have helped there, because thinking about it, the advert had pictures of only one side of the car. The advert was terrible. All it said was Rover 620 SLI, £500, no messes, and that's about it. You might think, well, why didn't I just ask for some pictures of the rest of the car? Well, yeah, why didn't I? Probably because the communication between myself and the lady that was advertising it wasn't really that great. She was taking quite a long time to answer any messages, and I did very much get the impression when she said it's first come first serve that just hurry up and get it before it goes. When you see a car that in the advert tells you that thousands have been spent on it and family owned for the past 20 years, your assumption is that it's been a well cherished and looked after car, and not a case of look for the bit that isn't dented. Do you know that scene in Father Ted where they had a Rover and got a little dent and then carried on trying to remove the dent until the whole car was just one big dent? It's almost as bad as that, and certainly the paint was worse. That was, in no uncertain terms, a wasted day, unfortunately. A whole day's worth of yard rent, eating out, fuel to get there and back, the headache, the disappointment. Yes, must try harder to find out what I'm buying next time before I go ahead and arrange such a trip.